Hello everyone. So, i-discuss natin ngayon is about statistical tools. So, i-discuss natin ay three parts. First is correlation, that is testing of hypothesis, and finally regression. So, mag-start tayo sa correlation. So, pag sinabi natin correlation measures the association or the strength of the relationship between two variables. So, nagko-compare tayo dito ng dalawang variables. Say, for example, yung scores sa English versus sa scores sa math. And tinitingnan natin kung ano yung relationship between dun sa dalawang yun. So, tinitingnan natin yung strength ng relationship nila. So, yun yung correlation. So, now, titingin tayo ng mga examples para ma-differentiate natin yung mga types of correlation. So, meron tayong tatlo. We have positive correlation, negative correlation, and zero correlation. So, first example natin. Suppose we are given the following set of data. So, meron tayong mathematics score and English score. And we have 10 students. So, gagawin natin is gagawin natin siya ng graph. So, simple graph lang siya, x and y. So, plot lang natin yung point sa isang graph. So, we have this. So, kung makikita natin yung graph, ang itsura niya para siyang nag-increase. So, increasing siya. So, habang tumataas yung score sa math, tumataas yung score sa English. So, kapag ganito yung graph natin, meron tayong direct correlation or positive correlation between the two variables. So, in this case, we have a positive correlation. Next, suppose ito yung given scores natin. So, again, plot lang natin siya sa graph. So, makikita natin dito na habang tumataas yung score sa math, yung score sa English ay bumababa. So, kapag ganito yung graph natin, decreasing siya, yung variables natin ay negatively correlated. So, we have a negative correlation. And lastly, if we have these scores, at i-graph natin to, i-plot natin to sa table, so makikita natin na wala siyang pattern. It's neither increasing nor decreasing. So kapag ganito yung graph, we have a zero correlation. So wala silang relationship whatsoever. Yung dalawang variables natin. So dito, score in math, score in English. So yun yung tatlong types ng correlation natin. So define lang natin sila formally. Two variables are positively correlated if the values of the two variables both increase or both decrease. Next, two variables are negatively correlated if the values of one variable increase while the values of the other decrease. And two variables are not correlated or they have zero correlation if one variable neither increases nor decreases while the other increases. So again, positive correlation kapag both increase or both decrease. Negative correlation if mag-increase yung isa, mag-decrease yung kabila. And zero correlation kung walang effect yung pagtaas or pagbaba ng isang variable dun sa isa. Okay? So kapag mag-check tayo ng correlation ng dalawang datasets natin, so bukod sa i-plot natin siya, meron tayong iba pang way para makita ko ano yung correlation. So for example, paano kapag madami tayong data points. So, halimbawa, meron tayong 100 na say students, ganun. Tapos i-compare natin yung scores. What if masyado nang marami yung samples natin? So, meron tayong mga pwedeng gamiting formula para mag-compute ng correlation. So, first is the Pearson product moment correlation. Okay, so the degree of correlation between two data sets X and Y is represented by the Pearson product moment correlation coefficient. So dito denoted by Rxy, which can have values from -1 to 1. So kapag +1, it is a strong positive correlation. Pag -1, we have a strong negative correlation. So kapag yung Rxy natin is 0, then walang relationship yung two variables. So yung formula natin is given by this. So Rxy, or the Pearson product moment correlation coefficient, is equal to the sum of x sub I minus x bar times y sub I minus y bar over square root of the sum of x sub I minus x bar quantity squared times the sum of y sub I minus y bar quantity squared. So dito, yung x bar is yung mean for the data set X. Y bar is the sample mean for data set Y. And yung mga X sub I natin is yung mga nasa data sets natin. Ganun din si Y sub I. Okay, so let's look at examples of correlations. So yung increasing, meron tayong positive correlation, and yung decreasing meron tayong negative correlation. So, and we have a zero correlation, or malapit sa zero. So, no correlation. Okay. So, consider natin yung first example natin kanina. So, ito yung scores natin kanina dun sa example 1. So, para ma-compute natin yung correlation using the formula, kailangan natin i-compute itong mga bagay na to. So, we have x sub I minus x bar, y sub I minus y bar, then x sub I minus x bar squared, y sub I minus y bar squared, and x sub I minus x bar times y sub I minus y bar. Okay. So, before natin i-compute to, kunin muna natin yung mean. Okay. So, yung mean natin, so paano natin kukunin ang mean or average? So, pag average, i-add lang natin ito lahat divided by the total number of items. Okay? So, add na natin. So, para makuha natin si x bar or yung average x or yung mean x, i-add lang natin to 4 plus 5 plus 9 plus 2 plus 8 plus 1 plus 2 plus 7 plus 6 plus 4 divided by kung ilan sila lahat. So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, we get 48 divided by 10, which is 4.8. So, yun yung x bar natin. We have 4.8. And for y bar, pag in-add natin to lahat, this is equal to 50 divided by 10. Kasi meron tayong 10 na data points. So, 50 divided by 10 is 5. Okay, so meron na tayong x bar and y bar. So, mako-compute na natin to. So, first is yung column natin ng x sub I minus x bar. Para makuha natin yung nasa column na to, yung mga data points natin kay x, i-minus natin with the mean. Okay, so dito we have 4 minus 4.8. kaya natin nakuha yung negative 0.8. So 5 minus 4.8 equal to 0.2 and so on. So pagkatapos nun, kukunin natin yung y sub I minus y bar. Same process din. So y naman, susubtract natin dun sa y bar. So 5 minus, yung y bar natin is 5. So 5 minus 5 is 0. 4 minus 5 is negative 1 and so on. So dun sa next column, we have x sub I minus x bar quantity squared. Yung nandito sa column natin ng x sub I minus x bar, i-square lang natin siya. Meaning, halimbawa yung una, negative 0.8 times negative 0.8 will give us 0.64. So 0.2 times 0.2 is 0.04 and so on. Ganun din kay y sub I minus y bar quantity squared. 0 squared is 0, negative 1 squared is 1, 3 squared is 9, and so on. Okay? And for the last column, i-multiply lang natin si x sub I minus x bar column kay y sub I minus y bar. So negative 0.8 times 0 is 0. Negative positive 0.2 times negative 1 is negative 0.2. 4.2 times 3 is 12.6 and so on. Okay? So pag nakompleto na natin yung columns, next is kukunin natin yung mga summations natin for x sub I minus x bar quantity squared, for y sub I minus y bar quantity squared, and for x sub I minus x bar times y sub I minus y bar. So, i-add lang natin to lahat. Okay? I-add lang natin to. Add lang natin yan. We will get, so for x sub I minus x bar quantity squared, we have 65.6. So, kapag in-add natin to lahat, we will get 65.6. Then, next column, pag in-add natin to, so 0 plus 1 is 1, plus 9, 10, plus 4 is 14, plus 16 is 30, plus 9 is 39, plus 16 is 55, plus 1 is 56, plus 4 is 60, 0, 60. So we have 60. And yung final column natin, pag in-add natin to, we will get 58. Okay? So, ano yung ginawa natin so far? First, kinuha natin yung mean ni x at mean ni y. Tapos, kukunin natin yung per column. So, x sub I minus x bar, y sub I minus y bar. Tapos, yung square nilang dalawa, tapos yung product nilang dalawa. Then, yung last 3 columns natin, kukunin natin yung summation nila. So, add natin yung each column. Makukuha natin ito. So, yung una dito is yung sum ng x at sum ng y. Ginamit natin siya para makuha natin yung mean. Okay? So, pag kompleto na natin to, meron na tayo ng tatlong summation na to. I-plug in lang natin siya doon sa formula natin. So, ito na actually yung mga gagamitin natin doon sa formula. So, kung babalikan natin yung formula, yung summation ng product ng dalawa, tapos square root of yung x sub I minus x bar quantity squared, and summation of y sub I minus y bar quantity squared. Yun na yung mga kinuha natin din sa table. So, plug in lang natin siya. So, yung 58 is yung sum ng x sub I minus x bar times y sub I minus y bar divided by square root of 65.6 times 60. Okay. So we have this. Kapag may calculator kayo, pwede nyo diretsuhin yung computations, no? Pero pag wala, okay lang. So we get 0.92, which is very close to 1. So this means na meron tayong strong positive correlation. So makikita naman natin dun sa graph natin kanina sa example 1 na positive na yung correlation nila since increasing yung graph natin. Okay? Next. So yung next table natin is for example 2. So same computations lang yung ginawa natin. Same yung table natin. Nagbago lang yung mga given na data points natin. So kapag kinompute natin to, we get a negative correlation. So ito yung example 2 natin kanina. So totoo naman ng negative yun dahil yung graph natin ay decreasing. Next is the table for example 3. Again, same computations, iba lang yung given points. So dito naman, ang na-compute natin na correlation is 0.008, which is close to 0. So meron tayong zero correlation, or little correlation. So zero correlation. Okay. So yan yung Pearson product moment correlation. Okay. So yung Pearson product moment correlation is only applicable when the two variables under study are interval type of data. So however, pag yung data natin hindi siya measured on an interval scale, hindi natin magagamit yung Pearson product moment. So for example, paano kapag yung data natin is ordinal or naka-rank yung variables natin. So kapag ganun, gagamitin naman natin yung Spearman's rank order correlation. Si Spearman yung gagamitin natin. So that Spearman's rank order correlation is the non-parametric version of the Pearson product moment correlation. Okay, so we have here the Spearman's correlation coefficient denoted by the Greek letter rho. So tinatawag nila ito minsan na Spearman rho. Si Pearson R. So yung Spearman, yung rho, measures the strength and direction of association between two rank variables. So ang pinagkaiba ni Pearson kay Spearman, si Pearson ginagamit siya for interval data. Si Spearman, ginagamit natin siya for ordinal data. Yung mga nakarank. Okay? Yung formula natin, ito siya. So, the Spearman's rank correlation coefficient is equal to 1 minus 6 times the summation of d sub I squared all over n times the quantity n squared minus 1, where d is the difference of paired ranks and n is the number of paired data. Okay, so paano siya gamitin? Let's look at an example. So, meron tayo ditong scores in math and scores in English. Okay? So, ang gagawin natin, first i-rank natin yung mga scores natin. Okay? So, yung ranking na ginamit natin dito is from lowest to highest. So, yung rank 1 natin is yung lowest score. Okay? So, ganun din yung sa English. So, i-rank natin yung mga scores. Okay? And then, so, kailangan natin makuha si d sub I squared. Si d ay yung difference of paired ranks. So, paano natin makukuha yun? I-minus lang natin yung dalawang ranks. Okay? For example, 3 minus 4 is negative 1. Since squared siya, i-square natin yung negative 1, which will give us 1. 9 minus 10 is negative 1 squared, 1. 6 minus 6 is 0, 0 squared, 0. 2 minus 1 is 1, 1 squared is 1. 1 minus 8 is negative 7. Negative 7 squared is 49, and so on. Okay? Then, kukunin natin yung sum ng squares. So, pag in-add natin ito lahat, we will get 92. Okay? So, meron na tayong d sub I squared. And yung n natin dito is yung number of paired data. So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, n equals 10. So, using the formula, we have 92 and 10. So, plug in lang natin siya. Yung summation of d sub I squared is 92. And yung n natin ay 10. So, we have correlation coefficient is 0.44, which is a low positive correlation. Okay. So, ganun gamitin si Spearman. So, si Spearman, i-rank muna natin yung mga data natin. Okay? So, kapag na-rank na natin siya, then, ko-compute natin yung difference between the ranks. And i-square natin yan. Then, get the summation. Then, use the formula. Okay? So, yan si Spearman. Okay? Next, for a pair of nominal dichotomous set of data, the phi coefficient is more appropriate to describe the data set than the Pearson or the Spearman correlation coefficients. So, pag meron tayong pair of nominal dichotomous set of data. So, ano ibig sabihin nun? Pair, which means we are comparing two variables. Dichotomous, with dichotomous means dalawa lang yung choices mo. So, pwedeng true or false, yes or no, mga ganong data. Okay? So, we have a pair of nominal dichotomous set of data. So, ito naman si phi coefficient. So, pag meron kang dichotomous data, dichotomous set of data, dalawa lang yung choices mo. So, let's say yes or no. Kapag meron tayong pair, meron tayong dalawang variables na kino-compare. So, meron tayong 4 na parang total na boxes. So, pwedeng ganito. So, titingnan natin yung contingency table. So, meron tayong male and female. Tapos, they will answer yes or no. Okay. So, doon sa first box natin, si A, ito yung number nung mga nag-yes na male plus yung mga nag-yes na female. Sa B, ito yung mga nag-yes na male at mga nag-no na female. Tapos, ito si no si male, yes si female. Ito si no si male. Tapos, no si female. So, meron tayong yes, 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 no, no, yes, and no, no. Okay, so yun yung A, B, C, D natin. So, yung formula natin, ganito lang siya. AB minus BC all over square root of quantity A plus B times the quantity C plus D times the quantity A plus C times the quantity B plus D. So, plug in lang natin yung values natin. We have 6, 14, 10, and 13. So, substitute lang natin siya dun sa formula. So, we will have this. And, when na-compute dito na phi coefficient, phi, we have negative 0.000312, which is very close to 0. So, the results show that the opinion on capital punishment, whether for or against, is almost 0 in the negative side. Okay? So, 0 correlation. Okay? Next, before natin proceed, again, so we have phi coefficient kapag meron tayong pair of nominal dichotomous set of data. Okay? And yung next natin formula is the point by serial correlation coefficient. So the point by serial correlation coefficient is a correlation that measures the strength of association between a continuous level variable and a binary variable. So continuous level is a ratio or interval, and binary yung mga dichotomous variables. So same lang yung binary sa dichotomous. Okay. So given two variable sets in which x is the continuous variable and y the dichotomous variable, ito yung formula natin ng point by serial correlation coefficient. So rho of xy equal to the mean of x when y equals 1 minus the mean of x when y equals 2 divided by standard deviation of all x values. So yung standard deviation ng continuous variable times the square root of the number of samples in 1 labeled 1 in y times the number of samples labeled 2 in y all over total number of samples times total number of samples minus 1. Okay, so x sub 1 bar minus x sub 2 bar over s sub x times square root of n sub 1 times n sub 2 over n times n minus 1. So, formula lang din siya. So remark, the point by serial correlation coefficient measures the relationship between a real dichotomous and an interval set of data. So dito, pino-compare natin is meron tayong isang continuous variable tapos meron tayong dichotomous. So tingnan natin yung example natin. So dito, yung achievement test results or yung scores, ito yung continuous variable natin. Okay? So kasi pwede siyang interval data. And yung dichotomous data natin is yung gender kasi dalawa lang naman yung pwedeng gender, either male or female ka. Okay? So dichotomous lang si gender. So since meron tayong continuous plus dichotomous, gagamitin natin pag ganun ay si point by serial correlation coefficient. Okay? So, anong kailangan natin sa table? Kailangan natin i-compute si standard deviation. Tapos, kailangan natin yung mean muna. Mean, then standard deviation. Then ito ay yung number of samples lang. So, kailangan natin ng dalawang means. So, first mean 1, mean 2. So, yung x sub 1 bar, yun yung mean nung mga mean ni x when y equals 1. So, ibig sabihin, para makuha natin si x bar, sa x sub 1 bar, kukunin natin yung mean ng mga merong 1 lang. Okay? So, ang kukuha na natin ng average is itong 10, 17, 8, and 10. So, meron tayong 4. Okay? So, 38 divided by 4. Okay? And ganun din si 2. So, yung x sub 2 bar, yung average ng mga merong lang 2. Okay? So, compute muna natin si standard deviation. So, yung formula for standard deviation is given by this. So, summation of x sub I minus x bar quantity squared all over n minus 1. Square root nun. Okay? So, kunin muna natin si x sub I minus x bar quantity squared. So, yung x bar dito is yung mean ng lahat. Okay? So, pag gana natin yung x bar, makukuha natin si 12.56. Then, yung next column natin is x sub I minus x bar. So, for example, 10 minus 12.56 is negative 2.56. Then, i-square natin to to get the next column. So, pag nakuha na natin yung mga squares, isa-sum natin yung lahat. Okay? Pag gagamitin natin to for the standard deviation. Okay? So, yan. Next. So, kunin na natin yung mga kailangan natin. So, first, si x sub 1 bar. Paano siya naging 11.25? So, sino yung mga meron ditong 1? So, we have 10 plus 17 plus 8 plus 10. So, this is equal to 10 plus 17 is 27 plus 8 is 35 plus 10 is 45. 45 divided by, ilan yung may 1? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 45 divided by 4, which is 11.25. Kaya nakuha si x sub 1 bar. Next, si x sub 2 bar is 9 plus 10 plus 18 plus 12 plus 19. Divided by, kung ilan yung may 2, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Divided by 5, we get 13.6. Si n sub 1 is yung number ng may 1. Ilan yung merong 1? Yung n sub 2, ilan yung may 2? So, we have 4 and 5. Si n ay yung inad lang natin lahat. So, yung total number of samples natin, we have 9. Kasi 9 yung students doon. So, we have 9 students. Yung standard deviation, we have the square root of summation from I cos 1 up to 9 of x sub I minus x bar quantity squared. Then, kinompute natin sa table all over n minus 1. So, sa n minus 1 is 9 minus 1, which is 8. So, we have 144.2224 divided by 8. Then, get the square root of that. You get 4.2459. Okay. And yung raw xy natin, so si point by serial correlation coefficient, so si x sub 1 bar minus x sub 2 bar divided by standard deviation times the square root of n sub 1 times n sub 2 all over n times n minus 1. So, we compute this, we get negative 0.1957. So, since negative, we have a negative correlation. We have a low negative correlation. So, ibig sabihin nun, interpretation nun, since negative, kapag mas mataas yung scores ng boys, mas mababa yung girls. Or pag mas mababa yung scores ng boys, mas mataas yung scores ng girls. Since negative correlation, opposite yung effect nila. Okay? Then see point by serial. Okay. So to summarize, meron tayong different formulas to compute correlation. So if yung data natin are both interval data, gagamitin natin si Pearson. Kapag both ordinal, gagamitin natin si Spearman or rank. Kapag both real nominal dichotomous, pag both dichotomous, si phi. Kapag isang dichotomous at isang interval, si point by serial yung gagamitin. Okay? So, yun yung mga difference nung correlation formulas natin. Okay. Next part is testing of hypothesis. Okay? So, kapag nasa business kayo or kahit sa education, madami tayong information na kinokollect sa real world. So, for example, magtatayo ka ng business na magbebenta ka ng kotse. So, gusto mo mag-gather ng data kung ano yung mga best-selling ng mga kotse. Gusto mong malaman kung alin doon sa mga brand ng kotse yung nagkakaroon ng mataas na number ng sales. Tapos, syempre gusto mo ding malaman kung ilan yung nagbebenta ng ganong brand. So, kailangan mag-gather ng data para malaman yung mga yon. So, kailangan mong, let's say, kailangan mo lang naman mag-survey. Okay? So, hindi mo naman kailangan tanungin lahat kung ano yung gusto nilang kotse. Pwede ka lang mag-survey. Gawa ka lang ng part ng population. So, yun yung tinatawag natin na sample. So, yung population is yung total number of people under consideration. Okay? Yung sample is part lang siya ng population. Okay? So, madami tayong klase ng data. So, pwedeng yung data natin is nominal, interval, or ratio. Madami din tayong klase ng pagkuha ng data. So, pwedeng surveys, pwedeng interview, pwedeng questionnaires. So, madami tayong ways para mag-gather ng data. Okay? So, after nating mag-gather ng data, gusto nating i-test yung hypothesis natin about dun sa given na problem based dun sa mga nakuha nating data. So, kailangan meron tayong tinetest. So, pag may tinetest tayo na problem, siyempre meron tayong hypothesis. So, meron tayong isang educated guess about dun sa gusto nating malaman. Okay? So, meron tayong two types of hypothesis. First is null hypothesis. Is statement of what is being investigated. So usually si null hypothesis, ito yung there is no significant difference between the blah 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 and so on. Okay? Si alternative hypothesis naman is yung kabaliktaran ni null hypothesis. Okay? So pag si alternative hypothesis, there is a significant difference between the two variables. Ganun. So yan si null and alternative. So ngayon, ang gusto natin gawin is ito-test natin yung mga hypothesis natin. So let's say na yung problem natin is gusto nating malaman kung mas effective yung ngayong blended learning kaysa doon sa traditional na classroom learning. Okay? So, pwede nating i-state yung null hypothesis natin na there is no significant difference in the mean scores of the achievement test. So, yung ginagawa natin dito is ko-compare natin yung scores ng mga nag-aral during blended learning sa traditional classroom. So, for null hypothesis, there is no significant difference in the mean scores of the achievement test in basic statistics of those who were taught using blended learning and those who were taught using purely traditional classroom methods. And sa alternative hypothesis naman, there is a significant difference between the scores of those taught with blended learning and the scores of those who were not. Okay. So, para i-test natin yung hypothesis natin, since ang kino-compare natin dito ay scores from blended learning versus scores from the traditional classroom learning, gagamitin natin yung t-test. Okay? So, gagamitin natin yung test na yun dahil yung data sets natin are independent samples. Okay? So, walang kinalaman yung pag-aaral sa blended learning sa traditional classroom. So, iba yung nag-aral dito sa blended, iba yung nag-aral dito sa traditional. That's why they are independent. So, gagamitin natin yung t-test para makita natin kung meron bang difference dun sa dalawang sets ng scores natin. So, yung formula for t-test is this. So, t equals x bar minus y bar, mean of x minus mean of y, all over the square root of n sub x minus 1 times standard deviation of x squared plus the n sub y minus 1 times s sub y squared all over n sub x plus n sub y minus 2 times 1 over n sub x plus 1 over n sub y. So, yung n natin, si n sub x is yung number of samples in x. And si n sub y, number of samples in y. Then yung s sub x at s sub y are the standard deviations of x sub y values and y sub I values respectively. So, kailangan natin ng mean, kailangan natin ng standard deviation, kailangan natin ng number of samples. So, first, we get the mean. So, yung mean, average lang nung scores for x and for y. Next, we have number of samples. So, meron tayong 10. And yung standard deviation, makakompute natin siya. So, again, kailangan yung gumawa dito ng table. So, hindi ko na nilagay yung table dito. Pero kailangan nyo pa rin dagdagan to. So, since x sub I ito, we will compute for x sub I minus x bar. Then, x sub I minus x bar quantity squared. And also y sub I minus y bar. And y sub I minus y bar quantity squared to get the standard deviations. Kung meron na kayong standard deviations, pwede nyo na siyang i-plug in dun sa formula. So, yung computed p-value natin dito is 0.11555. So, ngayon, paano natin i-interpret to? So, before natin interpret, tingnan natin yung steps. So, first, we wrote the null and alternative hypothesis. Next, we will choose a level of significance. Usually, ito yung error level natin. It's usually alpha equals 0.05 or 0.01. Usually, 0.05 yung pinipili. Choose your test statistic. So, in this case, t-test yung ginamit natin since we have two independent samples. Then, compute natin yung t-statistic natin. So, na-compute na natin siya kanina. Next, we will compare it with the critical value of t using the t table. And if yung na-compute natin na t is greater than the critical value na nandun sa table, then we will reject the null hypothesis. Kapag less than, we will accept. So, yung na-compute natin na t is 0.11555. Okay? So, pag titingnan natin yung table natin, we will look at 0. Significance level natin dito. So, let's say na yung significance level natin is alpha equals 0.05. So, paano natin kukunin sa table? So, kukunin natin yung degrees of freedom nung data natin. So, para makuha natin yung degrees of freedom, i-add lang natin yung number of samples ng dalawang group minus 2. So, actually, itong denominator na to, ito yung degrees of freedom natin. So, we have 10 plus 10 minus 2. We have 20 minus 2, which is 18. So, titingnan natin si degrees of freedom 18 and 0.05 na two tails. So we have 2.101. Since yung na-compute natin is 0.11555, which is less than 2.101, that means, since less than, we will accept the null hypothesis. Therefore, there is no significant difference between the scores from the blended learning group and the scores from the traditional classroom group. So, yun yung naipakita natin dito sa computation natin. Okay? So, ganun lang. Susundan nyo lang tong steps na to. So, usually, gagamitin nyo to kapag meron kayong research or so sa mga education, usually educational research, ginagamit ng statistics. And for mga business, may statistics din. Usually sa feasibility, gagamit kayo ng statistics. Okay? So yun si testing of hypothesis. Next part is regression. So, si regression is actually related doon sa discussion natin ng correlation. So, for example, yung height ng isang person and yung length ng kamay niya is observed to be positively correlated. So, sinasabi nung study na yun na kapag mas matangkad ka, mas mahaba yung kamay mo. So, para i-confirm natin yung observation na yun, kukuha tayo ng actual measurements ng mga heights ng, let's say, classmates mo, tapos yung length ng kamay nila. Then, titingnan natin yung data, i-observe natin yung data using, natin i-graph. Tapos, kung makikita natin doon na linear siya, na increasing, then meron tayong sufficient evidence na totoo nga yung claim na yun. Okay? So, paano natin ngayon i-measure or i-estimate yung length ng kamay given ng height? So, for example, meron kang mga data na na-compute mo na yung nakuha mo na yung graph mo, and gusto mo ngayon i-predict kung ano yung mga possible lengths ng kamay given the height. Okay? So, for example, paano pag ganito yung height, ano yung expected ko na length ng kamay niya? So, para makahanap tayo ng estimate, kailangan natin yung equation ng line na mag-fit doon sa na-collect natin na data. So, itong line na ito, tinatawag natin na line of best fit. So, recall from algebra that a straight line is represented by the slope-intercept form. So, y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So, pag meron tayong data set, so meron tayong set of data, yung m and b, yung slope at y-intercept natin, ay pwede nating makuha gamit yung mga formula na to. We have a formula for the slope and we have a formula for the y-intercept. So we now call y equals mx plus b as simple linear regression equation. So ang purpose nito is nagbibigay tayo ng estimate ng based doon sa given na data set natin. So for example, nag-collect tayo ng data, pwede niya siyang i-fit sa isang curve. So in this case, a line. Para ma-predict natin yung mga ibang data natin. Okay? So, for example, balikan natin yung first example natin. Ito yung meron tayong positive na correlation between scores in mathematics and scores in English for 10 students. Okay? So, kukunin natin yung regression equation natin. So, kukunin natin yung y equals mx plus b natin given nung data. So, kung babalikan natin yung data na to, so kukunin natin si sum of x sub I, sum of y sub I, sum of x sub I squared, and sum of x sub I, y sub I, tapos ito si sum of x sub I quantity squared. So, x sub I, y sub I, x sub I squared, tapos x sub I, y sub I. Okay. So, meron tayong, so take note na yung n natin is 10. So, si x sub I, sum of x sub I, ay inad lang natin ito lahat. So, y sub I, ganun din. Si x sub I, y sub I, ay multiply natin yung dalawa. So, 4 times 5 is 20. 5 times 4, 20. 9 times 8, 72, and so on. Then, i-add natin kung ano yung mga yon. Nakuha natin. So, add natin yun. Next, x sub I squared. I-square natin si x sub I. Tapos, i-add natin yung mga yan. Take note na si x sub I squared, si sum of x sub I squared is different from sum of x sub I quantity squared. Iba yung value ni squared na nandun sa loob ng summation versus dun sa nasa labas ng summation. Okay? So, para makuha natin si sum of x sub I squared, i-square muna natin ito lahat before natin i-sum. Okay? Si x sub I quantity squared, isa-sum to kukunin muna natin yung sum nito bago natin i-square. Okay? So actually, si x sub I quantity squared, si sum of x sub I quantity squared is 48 squared, okay, which is not equal to the sum of x sub I squared, which is 296. Okay? So pag nakuha na natin tong apat, plug in lang natin siya dun sa formula ng m. So makikita natin dito, we have x sub I, x sub I, y sub I, y sub I, x sub I squared, x sub I quantity squared. So para hindi kayo malito, again, gawa kayo ng table dito. So hindi mawala yung paggawa ng table para makuha nyo itong mga values na ito. Okay? So take note dito na si x sub I squared, sum of x sub I squared is different from sum of x sub I quantity squared. Okay, so pag kinumpute natin to, we get 0.884146. Then, we will use this m para makuha natin yung b. So, b is equal to y bar. So, kunin natin yung mean. So, ang mean natin dito, so, summation of y sub I divided by m, 50 over 10, which is 5. And yung x bar natin is 48 divided by 10, which is 4.8. So, meron na tayong values ni m and b. So, we get, pag ni-round off natin siya to 2 decimal places, yung regression equation natin is y equals 0.88x plus 0.76. So, yun yung linear regression equation natin. So, nung gamit ng equation na to, pwede nating ma-predict yung scores. So, dun sa example, pwede nating ma-predict yung scores ng isang student depende sa score niya sa math. So, yung x natin dito is math. So, pwede nating ma-predict yung score niya sa English given yung score niya sa math. For example, kapag 3 yung score niya sa math, pwede nating ma-predict yung score niya sa English by using the regression equation. So, substitute lang natin yung 3 dito. We get 3.41 or 3. So, ang sinasabi nito na kung yung score niya sa math ay 3, based dun sa regression equation natin, it is most likely na yung score niya sa English ay 3. So, yun yung purpose ng regression equation natin para predict natin kung ano yung possible na values na makukuha natin given nung values nung x variable natin. Okay? So, yun yung regression. That ends our discussion. So, again, correlation, we have 4 types. Pearson, Spearman, Phi, and point by serial. Next, for hypothesis testing, ang diniscuss lang natin dito is yung t-test. So, t-test for 2 independent samples. So, compute nyo lang yung t, compare nyo siya dun sa table, and you will make your decision to accept or reject the null hypothesis based on the critical value on the table and the computed t statistic. Okay? And for regression, ito yung line of best fit. Kukunin nyo yung regression equation. So, you will need to compute for the slope and the y-intercept, so m and b, to get the regression equation. And you can use the regression equation to predict the scores or the variables that are needed for your data. Okay? So kung may questions kayo, pwede yung comments or chat or PM nyo sa akin about sa discussion, about sa lecture, or about sa exercises. Okay? So that's all. And thank you for listening.